5, 4, 3, 2.
Tier 1 performance.
Hey guys, welcome back to Tier 1 Performance at In and Out Talks podcast. We got the one and only Jonathon Ducoff here today. Appreciate you joining us, Dookie.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah,
Excited about it. Excited to catch up with you guys.
Glad you got out of your busy schedule, being a father, working man, husband. I really appreciate that. How's that been?
Man, being a dad is the best. It's a lot of work, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. I'm blessed. I've got a wonderful wife, and she takes a heavy load. And I always joke, pretty much everything that I know about parenting, I just kind of have learned from her along the way.
Yeah.
do what she says, and he's turning out just fine.
Yeah, man, it's been a long time since we've been, kids playing in the backyard, in Kingwood and going to CBL games. Forest Cove, Select Ball, dude. But I know your story. Let's have the world know your story. Tell us what it was like for you growing up, getting into baseball, how you ended up going to college. I know your college route was different and difficult for most people. Then also how you ended up.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, diehard sports fanatic from the time I was little. You and I were like, dude, I don't know if I competed against anybody harder in the world than you and I at CBL when we were like 8 years old.
For 8 years old, competing with stats.
And the best part about all of it, Jordan's dad coached, my dad coached, and so both of us were automatic draft picks.
Correct.
But then we both were like fighting to lead the league and whatever, scoring and stuff. So both of our teams was pretty much just like a guaranteed, like we were going to meet in the championship, and it was the best time ever. But yeah, no, I played a ton of sports growing up. I loved basketball. Honestly, I loved basketball more than anything when I was young. Basketball, football, ran track, baseball, you name it. But always had a special spot for baseball, and ended up taking me to a lot of cool places in my career, and got to play in college, and bounced around quite a bit.
Yeah. What was your recruiting process? You had a very different compared to Mitch and I. What was your recruiting process like?
Yeah, I started getting recruited relatively early, at least for when we were in high school. I like to say, when we were coming out, it felt like kind of the first crop of kids that was really doing what I call, the verbal commitment, or like the early commit. Nowadays, super common. There's a lot of ways to get around and like get in touch with kids when they're freshman, sophomore in high school. But, probably the class right above us, Mitch, your class in high school, was kind of the first group that did that. There was the three guys from Klein Collins that all committed to Texas when they were freshmen and sophomores. CJ Hinojosa, Jake Jarvis, and then it was Austin Dean, I believe. Anyway, they kind of started that whole deal, and it's like all of a sudden the colleges realized, we can kind of do a little workaround and get word to these guys and get them to verbally commit early. And so I fell in love with Baylor early on. It was the first ever college camp I went to. I went to like an overnight, instructional camp, not a recruiting camp, and did well. And they gave me a recruiting letter at the end of it and said, come to the recruiting camps from now on. And so like I kind of always had a soft spot for that, and looked at several different schools along the way, but knew pretty early on that I wanted to go to Baylor, and committed pretty early. I committed after my sophomore year of high school.
Right.
And kept firm with that through kind of the rest of the summer ball recruiting stuff.
Yeah, it was pretty nice. Yeah,
it
nice
coaching. Yeah,
was it also stressful though, like having to go to all those tournaments?
Yeah, it was. And look, I mean, I think that I think I always played relatively free. Like I don't know that I was stressed. Like felt like I needed to get all the exposure, and it kind of just happened naturally. But like thinking back, I mean, there is a lot of pressure. And I still remember the first time I was at a tournament that there was real scouts. And it's, you look in the stands and you're like, go out there and look for mom and dad in the stands or whatever. And you turn around and there's 10 guys behind home plate, and you're like, what, whose hats are those? Oh, UT's here.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, absolutely. Get your heart going a little bit. And I vividly remember not performing well in some of those early situations.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think a perfect example is when I was playing with Heat and Ty. You remember Ty Ewart?
Yeah.
It was like, we were playing like not even at HBU, near HBU, 110 degrees, middle of July, and I'm just dogging that game. Like, it was a doubleheader. I'm already like 1 for 3. I'm satisfied. Like, I'm dying in the heat. Ty is busting his ass, and like, no, I didn't think anyone was there, but like Rice was there.
Yeah.
And Rice got Ty's information immediately and all that, and I just remember I got raved at.
Yeah.
For that. Rodney and Irene, like being Rice fan, was not happy about it at all. And I just remember I was like, yeah, this is kind of like a wake up call. Like, this is it. We're in the middle of it. And then when me and you went to Jupiter, and then we had all those scouts behind home plate, and I was like, yeah,
crazy.
It's kind of surreal. No fences, because they drove up with the golf carts on the side of the fence. Yeah, I thought that was absolutely rad. You're just in it, and you don't realize it, but that is like your future. You're one hit away from a completely different future.
100%.
Yeah, or a strikeout away. And it's just it's the most unreal thing.
And to your point, and I think it's a good point for the younger generation too. As they're trying to stand out and get recruited. There are a lot of schools that still value intangibles, and so in a world that exit velo wasn't a thing when I was coming out of high school. I had like 1 or 2 showcases that they measured it, and we were kind of like, oh, that's cool. I don't know what it means. There is no shortage of statistics. So, college coaches want to know, your batting average. They want to know how hard you hit the ball, how fast you run, how hard you can throw, and all of that's readily available. You go to one perfect game showcase, and it's done. Where it used to be, you had to fly somewhere to go to the big perfect game showcase if you wanted that kind of
attention
stuff out there and that attention. And so, I 100% coaches are wanting to see that guy that ran a hard 90 and that guy that, gets out to his position and he's focused and he's playing hard. It's a dime a dozen if you just want to find a guy that can throw hard, run fast, and hit the ball hard. There's a lot of those guys that exist, and so they're looking for the intangibles. They want to know the guys that stand out. And even if you're having a bad game, but you're still out there, focused and playing hard, I vividly remember having bad games and walking out the gate, and there were some scouts that wanted information. I was like, really? I wouldn't take my information today, but that's vitally important.
That's how it happens. Like, what were some of the things that you did or that you thought were necessary, or I guess skills or techniques you used that gave you an edge over other players? Like, what were some things that you thought were valuable? Like, hey, without this, there's no way I could be here doing what I do.
I think that, one of the most important things, I remember after my freshman year of high school, going to play for the Heat and getting on one of the older squads. By far and away, the thing that I think is most important is, as early as you can do it, go play with guys that are better than you and go get some comeuppance. There's no better way to learn and to learn what it takes, right? I mean, if you can play with guys that are already getting recruited, like, you want to see what it takes, there it is.
Yeah, put yourself in that pool.
Yeah, put yourself in that pool, ride the bench a little bit, be the young guy, be the guy that's not getting the phone calls. That might not be comfortable, but if you want to get there, you got to see what it takes.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I mean, I think for me, something like that was kind of like, working out with Jeff Edwards.
Yeah.
I think you introduced me to him, and I think he changed my swing. And that was probably like the first time I had taken advice from someone who I admittedly knew baseball more than me.
Yeah.
Like, because it's just my dad grew up playing football. My mom played tennis. You get high school coaches, but you get guys that you get fat, out of shape high school coaches that try to tell you what to do. And I'm like, you can't. Yeah. If I can't see, I'm a very visual guy. Like, if you can't do it better than me, why would I even listen to you? Like, there's no way I listened to things. There's no way I took hitting advice from other coaches in high school. I love Coach King to death. There's no way that dude was going to teach me.
I'm still here. I'm going to interject because that comment just made me remember something that is hilarious. And I vividly remember, I don't want to exaggerate, but I'm pretty sure that in freshman year of high school, did you show up with not a big barrel bat? Was that before high school? I just remember there was a tournament. You showed up and you were still hitting a skinny barrel.
Oh, that was before high school.
And you were smoking it, but exact same story. You were like, I'm not going to listen to anybody telling me to switch bats. I hit good with this.
Yeah. That was,
so I actually love that. I clearly remember that.
That was like 8th grade year. Yeah. Going, I don't know where we went, but I used skinny barrel bats.
Yeah.
Don't know why.
Wouldn't give it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was ping pong training. Like, you know, like I thought I was smoking it, and I was like, why don't you use a bigger barrel? I was like, why? We're gonna use why would I do that?
But I mean, to your point though, right? Like that's a great point. And you know, shout out to Jeff. Like he's awesome. I'm lucky that I got to spend some time with him. You know, early in our career, learn from him. And then obviously I see him all over the place. You know, through college ball and playing. But you're right? I mean, hey, find someone that's a wealth of knowledge and learn and be coachable. And look, the one thing that I've always stood by. I mean, even somebody that's a wealth of knowledge like that, I mean, doesn't mean that you have to take every piece of hitting advice that you have, but go seek out guys like that.
Correct.
And get that advice and take what works for you.
Take what works for you is probably the biggest takeaway for me in aspects, because like nobody knows your swing better than you. You've taken millions of hacks, and like some stranger that you've met, like, it's probably not going to know you the best, but you know what? Like, if that person is better than you or has been at places better than you, like, take what you can and apply it to your own swing. Like, there's no way you're going to, go take a lesson from Albert Pujols, and then next thing you know, you're going to have an Albert Pujols swing. That's ridiculous. No one's Albert Pujols. Yeah. But you can take some things that he said and apply it to your swing to make you a better version of yourself. And I think that's what Jeff Edwards did to me. And I appreciate that dude a lot, because I felt like he took my high school swing and made it to a collegiate swing. Yeah. And I was able to get more power out of it. And like, there's no way, like, I mean, we put up stupid numbers in high school. Yeah. But without him, there's no way I'm even close to that. There's no way, without him, I don't think I get on the Heat. And without the Heat, there's no way I go D1. And then without going D1, there's no way I get like my pro opportunities. Mm-hmm. Not that I went pro, but like my pro opportunities, like to go out there, like. And it's just like, it's funny, like, because when you think about it, you're like, what if I never like took you up on that lesson? Yeah. Like, what if I never went out there? Like, what if I didn't pinch hit in front of like Phil Cross, and then like Phil Cross is like, oh, I like him, and then he invites me out. Next thing you know, I'm with Tyler and all you guys on the Heat, you know. So it's kind of surreal, but it's definitely like, that's definitely great advice. Taking what you can from others that are better than you, surrounding yourself with other people. Yeah. I mean, I did it with this fool over here. Got me in the weight room. I mean, I was coming from basketball. I was skinnier than both of you guys. Oh yeah. You guys coming from football, jacked, and I can't even hit the ball in the center fielder's head. I can't even get it to Kwame. Top spinning it and everything. Oh, dude, I was just raw. I was like, who just handed this black kid a bat? Just let him go out.
You need more top hand.
Yeah. My dad had that. He took one of my skinny barrel bats, and like from when I was like 10, and he put 10-pound weights and duct taped it. And he's like, you have like fragile wrists, because like when I would swing, like, you know, I'm facing guys that are throwing 90, but my wrist would break. Yeah. Like I'd get jammed, and like, you know, instead of teaching me to like, hey, let's not hit the ball here, let's hit it out here. Get out in front of it. He was like, you gotta roll your hands over, because he's golfer. Yeah. Right? He's like, you just gotta roll your wrists, and you gotta get these muscles strong. And that was like the most practiced bad habit I've ever done in my life. But I would smoke 6 holes. 6-hole singles all day.
I love it.
I hold a little bit of resentment, but it was coming from a place of love.
Good work.
100%.
Good work ethic, right?
Yeah. I had a great work ethic. He instilled that in me. So first time walking in on Baylor, you get to Baylor, get to college. What was that experience like?
It was awesome. It's kind of funny. I get asked a lot of times, like, if I still root for Baylor, you know, football, baseball, whatever. And I kind of, it's a little bit tongue in cheek. I mean, the answer is somewhat no, because that's not my alma mater now. It's not where I graduated. But like, I spent 2 years there, and I couldn't say enough great things about the school. Like, I absolutely love the university. I loved my time there, and frankly didn't want to leave when I did. But it was awesome. The campus is so beautiful. The school is great, and the baseball program was in a really, really good spot when I was heading there.
Y'all were good.
When I committed was the year that the Feed the Beaver. It was 2012, and they had a bunch of guys. Max Muncy was on that team. A bunch of guys that went on to play. High level. Not all of them made it to the bigs, but won the Big 12. and really should have gone to Omaha, and they lost to Arkansas when they hosted the Super Regional, but they're ranked number 1 in the nation.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you know, from there it kind of went downhill, and we were not very successful the couple of years that I was at Baylor. But man, freshman year was awesome. Got the opportunity to play quite a bit, and wasn't ready, frankly. You know, I had a lot of holes in my game, and they talk about the game speeding up when you get to college.
It speeds up a lot.
And it sped up a lot, and I changed positions, you know, struggled big time defensively, and at the plate kind of battled it out, and I think I hit 250, 260 or something as a freshman. And
the outfield, right?
I ended up in the outfield, which is I'm skirting around the fact that I just ended up not being a good infielder, and I had bad hands, but. You know, I moved to third base. I really struggled with the throw. I struggled with the speed of the game, but I got to play. And you know, kind of the whole you know, what I just talked about. You know, surround yourself with people that are better than you. I mean, there was, you know, pretty much everybody in the field was better than me my freshman year, and I got some serious comeuppance, but I got a lot of experience.
Right. You didn't redshirt though.
I did not. No, I played.
Most freshmen do redshirt, especially going to a true D1.
Yep.
That's very hard. I don't think any of us redshirted, which is rare.
Yeah,
which is
that
rare.
is rare.
Yeah, that is pretty rare.
Yeah,
because I didn't redshirt. I remember going into the speed of the game and going into the fall, and I was like, I feel like I'm getting my ass kicked every day.
Yeah.
But I'm also in love with it.
Yeah.
Like I'm also in love because like it's kind of like it's almost refreshing being like we're not the number 1 guy on the team anymore. Like I don't have to lead. Like I am on the bottom half of the total.
Yeah, I gotta earn it.
And I gotta earn it. And it's like it's scary. It's fun and exhilarating, but it's also like I don't know. I felt like I was on the show. Like NCAA, like baseball. Like I'm at a mid-major year at Baylor, right? But it was like I was thinking like I'm going up north. I'm gonna kick these dudes' asses. I was like, it's like they don't even know what I've been through down in the South, and then I come up there and they kick my ass like day 2. They're like, welcome. Like I'm 21 years old. I'm 22 years old.
Yeah.
We pump shed. We throw sliders wherever we want. The plate is our domain.
Yeah.
And like I'm just like, oh wow. It's like these are grown men.
It's different.
I'm a child. Like it is. It was very different. It's also so much fun.
Yeah.
So what led you to transfer over?
Yeah. So, you know, freshman year, a lot of struggles, but also a lot of successes.
So you hit a bomb.
Yeah. Had what I considered a good freshman year. Defensively, very poor. I had a lot of holes in my game to work on. But at the plate, you know, showed a lot of flashes and some good things, and was ready to come back, you know, for what I thought was prepared me for a really strong sophomore year. Coach got fired the day after the season. Entire staff is gone. So the guys that had recruited, I mentioned earlier how early I had committed to Baylor, and like all of those guys are gone.
The whole culture is gone.
Whole culture is gone, and new staff came in, and only way to really put it, I drastically underperformed. I was in one of the worst slumps of my life. I was completely lost to the plate, and we were in a culture that time. Right, wrong, or indifferent. Just we had 45 guys, maybe 47 guys on the fall roster. You had to get down to 35 and then 27 for a travel squad.
Right.
They were actively looking for guys to get rid of, and I was a guy that I was on pretty heavy athletic scholarship, and I was not performing well, and so like immediate target on my back. And so I was uncomfortable. And you talk about uncomfortable situations like we talked about scouting.
Yeah.
You know, I was uncomfortable, and I was not feeling it. And I completely lost my game, and you know we entered into that spring, and like I was the far end of the bench. Had some sporadic pinch hits, you know, played some second base, moved around, played a little outfield, but ended the year basically. I think I had 25 at bats, and it was not good. I probably hit $120, and it was pretty much all pinch hits, and so got scholarship pulled at the end of that year, and rightfully so. I had not earned my keep there, and they were looking to bring in a bunch of new guys and turn over the program. And so left Baylor, quite frankly, almost hung it up. I don't know if I've ever even really talked to y'all about that, but like I was gonna hang it up, stay at Baylor. I didn't want to leave school.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
And almost hung it up. And you know, I want to keep down this story because I think it's something that, you know, especially for younger guys, just, you know, hopefully a good lesson to learn from. I mean, you know, I carried that, you know, 2 for 25 or whatever it was. I'm sure you can find it online at Baylor, and went and played in the TCL and started the TCL summer 2 for 30. So I went through a stretch in my career where I basically
Summer ball, so
I didn't even hit 100. I was striking out all the time, and I was going to hang it up. I had 2 schools that were interested in picking me up from Baylor, and it was Alabama and HBU. Okay, I called Texas A&M and really wanted to go there, and they didn't want anything to do with me, which is hilarious that I ended up there afterwards.
Yeah.
But those were the 2 schools, and HBU had a history there. I used to hit with Coach Stockton when I was 14, 15 years old, so I knew him. My brother had been with the program, and so I had some familiarity there. And they were willing to take a flyer on me. I mean, they looked at a guy that was like, okay, you played a lot as a freshman, you're really bad defensively, and then you didn't play a lot as a sophomore. You really didn't play any defense, so we don't know, but you didn't hit good. I mean, I didn't have a good track record rolling. But those were the only people really looking at me. And I was having a lot of conversations with my dad about, I'm not having fun playing the game anymore. And I'm giving it everything I got. I'm working my tail off, and I can't figure out my swing. And one swing adjustment, and it was a drastic one, but I was hitting with my hitting coach Julio. I found him and was able to start hitting with him, and he was like, "Look, we're going to completely change your swing. We're moving your hands, big leg kick, like just complete 180." Showed up the next game, 2 for 3. Next game, hit a home run. It's like, okay, maybe I do remember how to do this. And ended up making the All-Star team in the Texas Collegiate League that summer.
Oh, wow.
Went to HBU, and a complete 180. But, I mean, I was this close to just hanging it up and being
that
done.
mental side is very tough. I think you leaving is a different path from what I took, but I remember kind of a different case for me. Like, so I went into URI as an engineer.
Yeah.
And that's an 18-credit course to start my freshman year. And I'm thinking I'm smart. I can kind of deal with it. But, like, it was getting to the point where I was like, I'd wake up for 6 a.m. lift, go lift. I have a 8 a.m. class all the way. I have 8 a.m. class, and then my class is till noon. Go eat 1 to 5 baseball, just straight baseball. Extra hitting or whatever after that from like 6 to 7. 7 to 8, 8:30 I'm eating, shower, and then I'm going straight to the library.
Yeah.
And I'm there till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. Go to bed, start it all over.
Yeah.
And I was like not sustainable considering I had never done that before in my life. And then me just being thrown in there with 18 credit courses, like I was just getting overwhelmed. And then it got to a point where I was talking to my academic advisor, and they're like, they do this thing where they're like, all right, worst case scenario if you were going to fail your finals to best case scenarios if you're going to ace it, like what's your GPA looking like? And mine ranged from like a 1.5 to like a 3.6. It's like, do or die. And I remember I had this chemistry class taught by, I don't remember her name, I don't really like her, but she didn't speak English. She spoke Korean, taught chemistry, it's engineering chemistry, so there's like no calculator. Yeah. I took engineering math, no calculator, and I was in honors classes, and I remember I was like borderline crying to my parents, and I was like, hey, I'm like on the bubble for traveling just from playing baseball in the fall. That's what my coach said. And he goes, but honestly, I'm more scared academically. I'm not going to pass and I'm going to fail. And, my dad's like, well, just focus on passing. Don't worry about playing. Like, if you can redshirt. And I was like, okay, yeah. And then, like, I worked out this thing with my academic advisor, and she goes, tell your math professor, because, like, she was like, what are you better at, math or chemistry? I was like, I'm 100% better at math. I was like, I could have an A in math, but I don't study math because I'm studying on all my other courses. Yeah. And so I have, like, a C in math. And she's like, tell your professor you're going to tank that grade. You're going to tank that final. And then, like, focus everything you have into chemistry, just pass chemistry, and then I can retake the course later and have it replace my grade. And I ended up getting like a 2. I don't like telling this because my mom's not gonna be proud of me. I ended up getting like a 2.9 or 2.8 for the GPA, and I ended up passing it, and it worked out. And I remember, like, I also had to make a big change in baseball because my coach was like, look, you come from a place where you were like, me and you were the big dog hitters in high school, power hitters. Yeah. You were 4, I was 3, right? Yeah. And like, power. He goes, I don't need that out of you. He goes, you know what I want? I want a guy that gets on base and steals bags. Yeah. And he goes, if I see you try to go big and go home, you will go home. Like, it's just that simple. He goes, I got 6 to 7 power guys in my lineup. I need people on base because there's no way they're gonna do it. So I literally changed my whole dynamic of how I played for the past 2-3 years. And I turned into a guy that can learn how to bunt. Like, all of a sudden, I'm a bunt guy. I mean, you saw me bunt when we played HBU, and you're like, it's probably not Jordan at all.
Yeah.
I was doing it. I was doing whatever I could to play, and I was able to make that change. And I mean, I remember at first, like, that switch over was so hard. I sucked at bunting. I was getting like bunting with 2 strikes. Yeah. And that is terrifying as a freshman going up against a senior closer throwing 93 with run. Yeah. And you gotta get this down because you're like, oh, like as you square on, you're like, I think my scholarship's in the balance right now. and then I foul it off, and then I'm out, and then like they're like, Powell, take a lap. Like, I'm just like, okay, this is.
I feel that pain. I was never a good bunter.
I ended up being really good, but it just making that transition was very hard. Yeah. And I think that was probably the best / hardest change was to change the way I played. Kind of like how you did, like your whole swing changed. Like my whole swing changed as well. Like as far as from like when we were in high school to when we were like going into college and throughout college. But so you're at HBU now. Yeah. And I think was it your first year at HBU? You only spent 1 year at HBU?
Spent 2 years. I had to sit out a year.
Right, but the year I came to you, were you playing?
I was
setting out. Yeah. Bro, and then I missed you at A&M too. Yeah. So, so tell me what happened at HBU. I still remember that game like it was yesterday.
So go to HBU. Tried really hard to play my junior year. Petitioned to the NCAA. Quite frankly, it's still something that I'm a little bit disappointed with the NCAA for how it was handled. I had every waiver you could possibly imagine to get signed. When you talk about, cross your T's, dot your I's, the stated reason for no transfers in the NCAA was, we want athletes to graduate on time, so that they're going to lose credits when they're transferring and all these things. And then there was the limitations about if you're going to transfer inside your conference or compete against each other, all these things. I had a full signed release from the athletic director at Baylor, the coach at Baylor. I also was losing 0 credit hours, and I was on pace to graduate early. And I was not playing in the same conference. Everything you could possibly get, and they said no.
That's crazy. Did they give you a why?
Effectively, they basically said they just weren't granting any transfers that year, unless you had some real like harassment issues with code, whatever it was. But bottom line is they just weren't doing transfers, and this was before the Wild West happened with NIL today.
Right.
But quite frankly, ended up being a huge blessing. It's what ended up giving me an extra year to play at A&M.
Right.
Which was one of the most fun years. I would argue probably the most fun year I ever had playing baseball. Yeah. But so I go to HBU. I sit out for a year. I work out 5 days a week, just like a madman, and working on my game and trying to rebuild myself there. Went and played summer ball. Y'all came down and played against us, which would have been so fun to actually be able. I don't think we ever shared the field together in college.
No,
and obviously that would have been.
But I saw you like 3 times.
We saw each other all the time. But so y'all came down obviously and did your little Gulf Coast tour early in the year when you can't play up north.
Getting walked off on. All these southern schools. It's infuriating.
But I obviously HBU is a place that's real dear to my heart. I'm still very involved with the school and the program, so sat out a year, which was disappointing, but tried to be a good teammate and be around. I still traveled with the team, which was cool that I was allowed to do that, and so redshirted that year, and I don't know if this is the best time to go through it, but obviously fast forward into my senior year. Was when I go through the fall, and then I actually end up getting diagnosed with cancer the January of my senior season. So right when we're about to start our senior season.
No, that's right, because we worked out in December, and I was like, dude, you seemed like really out of it. Yeah. I was like, and then you sent me that text and like, hey, I have cancer, and I was like, honestly, like I just put my phone. I was like,
don't think it's.
I was like, it's not a funny joke. I was like, that is pretty serious. And then I was like, why would we work out? Like, we shouldn't have been working out. Like, what's going on? And then, but like, I mean, you did look good for like considering you were battling that, and I know that had like a huge toll on you. I can only imagine the mental struggle you went through, and like you were just, I mean, like to be fair, I knew something was wrong, but like only up here, nothing physical or anything like that. But like, how was battling that your senior year?
Yeah, you know, I was very fortunate. I mean, the type of cancer that I had, it was not super aggressive. We were able to treat it with meds that, you know, was not traditional chemo. And so, you know, I'm not going to act like I felt fantastic, but there's a reason I played through it, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't just because we were trying to tough it out. Like I felt like I could, and quite frankly, I kind of joked. My dad and I were kind of talking about it when we were going through it, and it was harder on my family, I think, than me. But you know, I said, you know, I'm taking 2 drugs, but the third drug is going out to the field every day. That's my third medicine, and so, you know, I was in 9 hours or something. It was a perfect senior kind of last deal. I wasn't too stressed out with school. My teachers were working with me if I had to go do treatments and stuff. And I had a lot of people that made that year possible, just because there was so much going on externally. But you know, it was tough. And oddly enough, I think that statistically that was the best year that I had in college ball. But you know what it did for me though. Is it completely changed my perspective on everything, on life. Mm-hmm. You know, and forever, you know, I know that we've talked about this. I mean, I just want to go play pro ball. Mm-hmm. And I was hell-bent on that from the time that I was 18 years old coming out of high school. And that impacted it. And not only did it impact it, but I had certain scouts effectively tell me coming out of that year, like, look, like you had a good year, but we don't know what this means, right? Like I think I was in remission by the time the draft came out, but it was like I was still getting treated all the way through past the draft. And so it was a little bit of an interesting time, but it completely changed my mindset from, you know, I've got this kind of lofty goal that I'm chasing after to just, man, how lucky are we to be out here and play this game, enjoy it, and give it everything we got and play hard. And so it was a blessing. And like I said, completely changed my life.
And then that leads to A&M.
It leads to A&M.
So did they call you or did you call them?
Oh, they didn't call me. I love to tell this story, and I'll give a little shout out to Coach Rob Childress. I absolutely loved playing for him, respect him so much, such a good man. Mm-hmm. And I don't remember if I emailed him or if I called him, how we got in touch originally, but I got in touch with him. I think I sent him an email and said, hey, I got accepted into this Master's of Accounting program at A&M. Like, I'm coming to school. And, you know, I was on the fence, but like, I think I want to try to play. I've got another year of eligibility, you know, what do you think? Mm-hmm. And so he gives me a call, whatever it is. And I vividly remember this. His words basically in response was, I already have 7 outfielders. I don't need you. And it maybe it wasn't that harsh, but it was effectively that.
That was the message.
That was the message. And I said, look, like, I hear you. I'm coming to school. So if you want me to come try out in the fall, I'd be happy to. At the very least, if you want a 23-year-old guy to come in and you know, put a little pressure on your freshman outfielders, I'm happy to do that. I want to give it a shot. And I don't think I sent all of this until like mid or late June. I mean, I was on the fence about whether or not I wanted to do it. I had started playing golf. I mean, I was picking up other hobbies and working out. And so anyway, so you know, fast forward to the fall, we get there and you know, and I remember Coach Childress on the phone. He goes, "Look, if I give you a shot and you come in the fall, like don't show up out of shape. Don't show up not ready to go. Like you better show up.
Ready, yeah.
You better show up and be ready. You know, don't waste my time." I said, "You got it." And so I showed up and did like literally a 30-minute, maybe less, 20-minute. You know, go out in the outfield, throw some balls, field some balls at shortstop, and then let's hit, you know, 3 rounds of BP, and did well. He said, "Come back tomorrow." And I came back the next day, did well, and then you know, fast forward kind of into the fall. Once I actually made the fall squad, which maybe 2 or 3 days of kind of out there with no uniform on, and he goes, "All right, you can be on the fall squad." And then you know, by the grace of God, I had the best fall of my life.
Start shooting on.
It was unbelievable. I had the best fall of my life. I mean, I played out of my mind. For a split second, I started thinking, well, maybe I should consider pro ball again. I mean, I think I hit 500 in the fall. It was outrageous.
You were hot.
I led the team in hitting in the fall. which is just completely not a representation. There were so many guys on that team that were so much better than I was, but I kind of had it rolling. I played well, and so coming out of the fall, it was like, all right, you're on the spring roster, and I got an opportunity to play and got to play SEC ball, which is so cool. And to me, by far and away, the coolest part about it was like, I had 0 pro ball desires. I was there for school. I got engaged that fall, which was like the coolest thing ever. I mean, I was playing a kid's game, and I was on borrowed time, and I got to just sit back and enjoy baseball for one more season at the highest level that I knew that I was ever going to play at. It was the best, most fun season I ever had.
Man, yeah, I remember seeing like the whole story about you coming out at A&M and like Jonathon Ducoff from walking onto the field, battling cancer, going on that. And I remember look, 'cause I think I was finished. I was finished after that. I was finished, and I remember just like screaming. I was like, let's go, because I'd be watching your games at A&M and like, oh, Ducoff, and then he like takes it deep, and I'm like, well, obviously he's gonna take it deep. Like no one can stop this kid. And then I saw like the piece that your coach said about you. Very, very flattering. I'm sure he's a good dude. We kind of got into it when I played, but I know, wasn't very nice. But like that whole program, like Kolick was there.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of good dudes, and it was one of my favorite things to do was play at that park.
Yeah.
And the crowd. I mean, the crowd was very funny. Their chirps are very clever. It's not
awesome.
It's not hatred. It's just like, you
just a bunch of good baseball fans. It's such a great place.
And it's great. I'm never gonna say howdy, but I thought it was a good story, and man, it's kind of surreal seeing all the things that you were able to conquer, all the things that we went through together, and then you had your own path and you flourished. I had my own path. Mitch had his own path, and it kind of it brought us back here at the age of like what 28, 29, 30.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of it feels like a dream almost.
Yeah.
Like dude, when we were in high school, shooting the shit in the fucking locker room and being like, hey guys, like in like 15 years, like you're gonna be married, he's gonna be engaged, like we're gonna be living downtown, like we're gonna have a business together. Like I would have been like, you're out of your mind. But here we are now, though, and Ducoff, I appreciate you coming down here, dude. It's always good to see you, man. I know you're super busy, but like stay in touch, and we're definitely gonna have you on again, man.
Yeah, that's great. I appreciate you guys having me.
All right, we'll see y'all later. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks.
This one stayed all over.
4, 3, 2.